our community, our hometown. This is Kearney Live, presented by 102.7 FM and KMO-TV. Kearney Live is a close-up look at the people, places, and events that matter to you. And now, here are the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
I love the live studio audience. Welcome to Kearney Live. It is that time on Wednesday at noon. I am your host, Mike Davis, for the most important program on the planet. Yes, no doubt about it. My partner and co-host of this program, one of them, is missing today, missing in action. Jim Dickerson is out. He's out flying around the country. There he is. Yep, look at that mug. Look at that. Nice looking guy right there. And the voice of your Kearney Bulldogs, who are 3-0, by the way. How cool is that? Yes. And I also have Stacy Bratcher, the Executive Director of the Kearney Chamber of Commerce, and a weekly co-host on this very program. And we are so glad to have you here, Stacy. It is just, it's a delight having you here. And you, what did we say off the air? You feminize the broadcast just somewhat. Yeah. So the guy jokes are going to be minimized here, perhaps. I don't know. But I do want to introduce a couple of other guests. First of all, we do have Morgan Loggins with us this afternoon, I should say, of Walnut Creek Winery. Yes, welcome to the show, Morgan. Yes. And as Morgan will be departing after our conversation about the really cool winery in Holt, Missouri, in case you didn't know about it, this is going to be awesome. Jerry, he is the Jerry Nolte. Sorry, I went to high school with him. Yeah, 50 years ago. That's why it's hard for me to remember things. Yes, exactly right. 50 stinking years ago, folks, I know. He is the presiding commissioner of Clay County. We're going to talk about all kinds of things, but he's also going to sit down and talk about just things in general with Stacy and me. So it'll be fun. Okay. All right, we're going to go to Morgan. Morgan, here you are sitting here with us with this amazing new, the winery. It's called Walnut Creek Winery. Yes. It's in Holt, Missouri. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I didn't know that this was here until somebody said, wow, you guys should really, I think it was Jim Dyer who mentioned it, yes. Yeah. And I said, well, that sounds like a thing that we'd either like to come visit or talk to you about.
You guys have to come
here you are.
Yes.
Bring us up to speed. Yeah. What was the idea? How did it all come to fruition? Yeah. And tell us about.
When do we get to come? I know, that's the big question.
Let's have a drink. Yes.
Yeah, come on out, have a drink on us. So it all started, our owner, Raymond Jewell, and his wife, they moved back to the area after living in Tennessee for a while, and this was kind of a passion project, I think, for Raymond a bit, and it really took off. Truly a passion project. He's been working on this the last 2.5 years, and finally we're about to open here in Holtz. We're doing, I think, more of a soft opening in the next week or so. So we will be open Thursday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Moving forward. But I think our grand opening weekend is not going to be next weekend, but the following weekend. And that's the weekend of September 29th to October 2nd.
Oh, perfect, yes. Perfect wine drinking time.
Exactly, yeah. 11 to 9. That's plenty of time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sounds terrific.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm looking at your website. Yes. It's walnutcreekwine.com. Yes. Mm-hmm. And beautiful website. Looks like you're bringing farm to table to your glass, which, wow, I love that. That's a nice headline. Did you write
it? It is.
Well, talk about it. I mean, it says you're dedicated to crafting premium, help me with that, vinifera and hybrid wines.
So we have an incredible winemaker. I know Stacy had the pleasure of meeting him the other day. His name's Dominic. We call him Dom. He has over 30 years of experience in winemaking all over the world. Australia, Napa Valley, Spain, Italy, just,
oh my goodness.
I know. And he has a great accent too. But he's incredible and he's so talented and everything he makes is delicious. Now, it's very different than a lot of other Missouri wines. It's not as sugary and I just can't wait for you guys to come out and try it.
Are they Missouri wines? Or
so our vineyards, we have some in Colorado, and then some will be growing here in Missouri, but the taste is completely different.
Yes, and I know what you're talking about, and there are some really good Missouri wines, but I've had some that have that sort of sweet taste.
Yes.
That's just a little too much. So I
yeah.
think for
Not
some.
for me.
Right, well, okay, no, that's fine. I mean, there are a lot of them that are crafted specifically that way. I see community built,
Yes.
locally grown. Talk about that.
So we are trying to keep everything as local as we can, so local honey, because we're also doing a few food options, which we can get into, but we're using local vendors as much as we can. So if anybody has a local business, please reach out to us and let us know, because we'd love to collaborate. And I know the Chamber of Commerce, that's already been so helpful.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The world-class vinifera that we mentioned, and you're saying you're a local boutique winery specializing in the vinifera grape varieties. Did I get all that right?
Yes, you got it all. Look at you. You're a winemaker yourself.
I'm a wine drinker.
Yeah, drinker.
Just
Let's
stop
not
it right.
stretch it.
Yeah, exactly. But talk about what that means, and if you can. I mean, I know there's a lot of science involved in wine that
Yes.
we could spend hours on.
I'm sure, especially if Dominic was here. That's more of his expertise there. But there's the nice photo.
I
of Dom,
see
so
that,
Please,
yes.
Yeah, go check out our website.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could definitely get into all of that, and we'll obviously have wine tastings and everything for him to really describe everything that goes into
Because
it.
there's a wine bar.
Yes, tasting room.
Okay.
Yes.
That you actually go sit at.
Exactly.
So that you can taste all of
Yes.
the wines and decide which one's your favorite.
Yeah, and we'll be doing flights, I think, for $10, which is you can try 4 different wines for $10. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people like all of them, but
Yes.
you can figure out what's your favorite.
And what do we have to go with the wines?
We're going to be having pizza and charcuterie. So I have a business, it's called Cheese the Day, Casey. It's a charcuterie board business. So that's actually going to be a part of Walnut Creek moving forward. And we have fresh pizza, just everything that goes great with wine, I think.
So we can come out anytime, Thursday through Sunday,
Yes, 11
and have
a.m. to
pizza.
9. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to have wine. We could have
Right.
pizza or vice versa.
Yes, and we're hoping that that's another big draw, just because the area, it is a quiet area, and we love Holt. Everybody's so friendly there, and hopefully that's something else that people can come out and just have and enjoy.
Well, I noticed there is a wine club, and when I click on the link, it says coming soon.
Yes.
So just so folks might get an idea of how they could participate in the wine club.
Yeah, so
tell us
we're
about
going to
it.
have that on our menu, so you can fill out exactly what kind of wine you want to try, and then on the flip side, on the back side of our menus, you can leave your contact information, and we can add you to our wine club. We're going to have 2 different levels at 2 different price points, so that'll include different bottles of wine every single month that we can ship to you, or you can come pick up.
Oh.
And then there's also going to be exclusive get-togethers and gatherings for our wine club members as well.
I see too that it says you can have your event there. So what could people count on? How many people can you hold? And
yeah, so inside our capacity is right under 100 people, and outside, I'm sure as Stacy saw the other day, we have a big pavilion set up and a lot of seating. You have to get out there.
I'm intending to do this now. I know it looks great.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We're
are you
thinking
taking?
weddings we could do, and then actually I forgot to mention this. Every Thursday evening we're going to be doing a cornhole night.
Fun.
Yes, so bags if you want to come out and throw bags underneath the pavilion.
Is
We'll have lights out there and TV. So even on Sundays for football days.
So I can picture the
Yes.
experts showing up with their own cornhole bag, you know,
Exactly, yes.
in a little case,
Yeah,
you know, like a
yes.
pool cue.
Exactly, yeah.
So yes.
And maybe some music?
Yes, we're going to have some live music. Yeah, every Friday night from about 6 to 8:30ish, we'll have a live band, and then inside Saturday and Sunday, noon to 3. We're going to have live music in there too.
How is the you mentioned that the community of Holt has really
Yes.
sort of
Oh my
embraced you, but
Everyone is so
how are they showing up and saying, show us, we want to know what you're doing, let us have a peek.
I cannot even tell you guys how many people will drive by, and I can see that they're curious, and I like to sit outside while it's still nice out and work out there, and people will pop in and we'll do a quick tour, and everyone is just so kind
That's
and
great.
excited. And
Well, I know the
such
buzz
a
around
friendly
Kearney is
community.
there's a winery. When's the winery open?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know.
We're thirsty.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's been great.
Why Holt?
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
I
great
know
question.
Raymond. Yeah, great question. Raymond and his wife, after moving back from Tennessee, they moved to Kearney because his mother-in-law is living there.
Okay.
Yes. So to take care of her and help her out, and they were just driving around and saw this building. And I know Leon is a huge community pillar, I think, of Holt, and he owned the building actually. And Raymond was able to kind of chat with him and buy the building from him, and it just felt right.
Yeah,
It felt right.
I think sometimes there's that, that you listen to the quiet voice.
Yes,
and
exactly.
this is the right decision to make. And And you're really, for folks that don't know, how far away from Kearney is Holt?
It's quick.
It is.
I actually live in Liberty, and it's like a quick 20-minute drive, very easy to get to, and it's so
From
close
Liberty?
Yes, from Liberty.
Yeah. So from
and even
Kearney,
closer from Kearney.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Yeah,
close.
and so PP Highway is generally the
Yeah.
exit off of I-35
Yeah.
northbound, and make a left-hand turn.
Yes, left-hand turn.
There you go, or going
You'll
back
see it.
west. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you'll see it. It's
And
easy
you
to
can't
spot.
miss it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what we hope for.
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar up there,
Yeah.
but yeah, well, it just sounds terrific.
Yes. And we're also we're working on this right now. There's a local guy, he's going to be bringing in some of his craft beers.
Oh.
So, yes, another whole addition to our winery. We'll be offering about 4 to 6 of his specialty beers.
That makes me curious
Yeah.
about just some of the, I guess, inside baseball stuff that
Yeah.
goes on. Do you need a different license to sell beer versus wine?
There's a lot of licensing
Oh,
that we've been working
boy.
on. Don't even get me
I
started.
guessed as much, yes.
I've done a lot of
Perfect.
paperwork in the last few
Yes.
months.
Yeah.
You start getting a stamp.
You jump through the hoops.
Oh my goodness.
It
Well-
looks like from the tour that we went on yesterday
Yeah.
that you used a lot of local artisans to help build or create
Yes.
the facility. Do you want to mention a few of those?
Everyone's local, even our concrete guys over at Dolt's. Also, I'm sure, Stacey, you saw we're using local artists to decorate the building.
Nice.
We have 2 artists. Ruthie Becker is one of them, and she runs a big art district down in Kansas City, and she brought some of her original pieces out, and we're going to be offering those if anybody wants to come check those out. But we're
Okay.
decorating the entire building with local artists.
Oh,
It's
very
beautiful.
nice.
JD
It's
Garten
incredible.
did your
Yes.
bar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
JD. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
our bar, and JD also did all of our outdoor furniture.
Oh, he did.
Incredible.
It
Yes.
is gorgeous.
I think
I
Jim.
know, it's very impressive.
Yes, Jim Dickerson gave him a plug
Yeah.
on the what do they call those Adirondack chairs?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
which,
It's-
well, fantastic.
beautiful.
Brian's showing us that this. I told you this was going to
Oh,
go by
no,
too
no,
fast.
already.
But all of you
Already.
folks, we've been visiting with Morgan Loggins, and she's with this wonderful new Walnut Creek Winery in Holt, Missouri. And we're going to be back in just a minute. Stacy, what's coming up next?
Yeah, we are just remembering the 21st anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, so we're going to talk about our memories when we come back.
All right, stay with us.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
You may have noticed your shoulder hurting, or maybe a kink in your neck. The culprit may be looking right at you. Your phone. Think about how you use it. Does that pain feel familiar to you?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. We have, you can see this guy right here to my left, Jerry Nolte. That's right, he is the presiding commissioner of Clay County and a frequent visitor of this show. And I just wanted to say that we love having you here. You're always welcome. And you may be seeing more and more of Jerry periodically. I think this guy's got the talent to host this show, so he may sit, and I'm very serious, he may be sitting in from time to time, and we could use some guest hosts. So that's just more fun stuff for you to just count on. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about a couple of topics that I think are relevant to the world and certainly the folks here in Kearney.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Stacy. Yep.
Well, you all were just recently at the 9/11 celebration with Kearney Family Chiropractic.
Yes.
And on Sunday, we remembered 9/11. There was many tear-choked tributes, and there's pleas to never forget. It was the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. Can you believe it's been 21 years? It's so hard to comprehend that event alone, but now to think that it happened 21 years ago and that there are actually young people now who have no clue that that event happened, and it's not being, from what I understand, being taught in the schools. So how do we go about remembering this and sharing this? And I'd like to know from you gentlemen, where were you when you heard about the towers falling?
Well, it's hard not to remember. I was on a trip to Colorado with a friend of mine, and we had just done we had climbed a 14er. It was actually Mount Missouri. And as I was waiting to sort of get all my gear pulled together, throw it in the car, and head back to Kansas City, this thing just appeared on the TV, which I think that was one of the things that I found so incredible about this event, is that we were able to watch this historic moment.
As it happened.
And it was just devastating. And it was just, and then, driving home across Kansas, back to Kansas City, not seeing one single aircraft in the air. But so just the memory is just as vivid now as ever.
But you're right about people not necessarily remembering, because my understanding is something approaching a third of the people in this country were either not born or too young to have a specific memory of those events. I was teaching school at the time. Oh. And so I was getting my classroom ready, and it sort of, obviously came up. Unfortunately, we had some of the kids who were there early, and they were watching some TV programs and having some cookies, so we kind of had to deal with that. So they really didn't understand. One of the specific things that was more personal on that was one of my fellow teachers had his mother pass away. Just a few days prior to. The funeral was in Pennsylvania. Well, obviously that has significance, but there was no way for him to travel for his mother's funeral. And that's a very large tragedy, but one of the smaller kind of heartbreaking, facets of it.
Right. I was 9 months pregnant.
Oh my. Wow.
I was 14 days away from giving birth to our second child. And I know Brian and his family were in that same position as well. I remember being in the car driving to work when I heard about the first airplane strike. And by the time I got to work, everybody was in the employee break room, everybody's watching this little tiny TV, and we're watching the towers fall. And our entire sales team was in Las Vegas at an industry show. We didn't know how they were going to get back. And just, was I even going to make it home? Because I was across the river. I was in South Kansas City. How am I going to get home? Because you think the world is falling apart. And it what kind of world were we bringing this child into was a prevalent thought.
Yeah.
It just was such an emotional day for everybody on all kinds of different levels.
I remember that feeling there. You just, as you watch this thing unfold on a TV screen, on a national feed, you're trying to just make sense of it, and you can't really even imagine, after seeing a thing like that, an airliner crash into a building.
Right.
What more could happen? And in fact, I think we all wondered about that. Is there more to come? Was this Is this the last volley of whatever nefarious people were involved with this? And just very, very frightening, I think, to all of us.
It was, and it was one of the aspects was unifying. At the time, I was also chairman of my political party. I reached out to, and she reached out to me, the chairman of the other political party, and we put together a remembrance kind of ceremony, a sort of a unity thing, to where we brought in different clergies from different faiths, and we had a rally down there at Rooney Justice Center, because it was important to show that there was solidarity, that literally any differences stopped at the water's edge, or at this on that day, it stopped at the Twin Towers.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's something, Jerry, that we have perhaps gotten away with. I think, our political system, the parties are divided, no doubt about it, more so now, I think, than perhaps ever before. And, you like the time, that time, from the standpoint that the nation came together as one. I think as we like to sort of imagine it, but it was a generation or two before us of the Pearl Harbor attacks. Of course. And I just, I can remember my folks talking about it. And of course, in school, we all heard, Roosevelt come on the radio, and just the solemn, the somber sound of the president's voice at the time. And of course, we heard a lot of that from George Bush at the time. And then, and I think the news coverage of that thing, I think that's where we started to see wall-to-wall news coverage really come to life.
Yes. Yeah, it was on every channel, constantly 24/7. We had all the information at our fingertips and knew exactly what happened, exactly who did it, and how everybody was reacting from California to New York. And I'll never forget seeing all of the congressmen in Washington standing on the steps singing together in unity.
Right, imagine that now.
Right.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an incredible moment where we all were facing the same turmoil together.
Yes, yeah, and you wondered again. I guess that is this the end, or is this over now, or where does it go from here?
Or was it the beginning? Yeah.
And one of the other things that I think that grew out of it was a year or two later, and even right up until now, there are documentaries and video evidence, I think, of how families who lost loved ones in the buildings themselves, or in the aircraft, how that impacted those families, how it impacted the first responders there, which is where what we celebrate on 9/11 now, and how important that is, that these brave people, and folks who just got up to go to work one morning and didn't come home.
Yes.
And a thing like that happened, and it's historical.
In our house, we watched one of those documentaries Sunday evening, and it was really interesting because over 300 firefighters perished, 60-some police officers, and so the part of the documentary that was really interesting was that now those firefighters, their children, have grown up to be firefighters because of that event. They otherwise probably wouldn't have thought about being a firefighter, or they were even in different professions already at the time, and went back into firefighting because of that. So it's just really interesting. They were saying how many new cadets they're getting that are from the families, not only just of the fallen first responders, but also of the people who worked in that building.
Something that always strikes me when I see video from that time is it's natural you're going to see a lot of people running away from that tragedy, but it always strikes me how the large number of first responders and others who are running towards danger, And I think that speaks very highly of the world, not maybe not the world we live in, but certainly the country we live in. That tells you what the character of those individuals is when instinct tells you to run away, they run too,
Right.
to help.
And so many of them had run to the building, gone in, gotten people out, including themselves, and they went back in knowing they wouldn't come out.
Oh, that's people talk about heroes. They throw that word gets thrown around a lot. Those were heroes, folks. I mean, it's a frightening thing to consider, and those people are still around. I mean, some of those people live right here in this community, and in communities like Kearney, Missouri, all over this nation. And I think it's why we celebrate. It's why we celebrated with Dr. Strathman and the first responders around here last Friday afternoon, and it was great to see those people. And just a solemn event and a solemn memory, but well done. And thanks for bringing that to the table. I
want to be a part of one of the last moments of the documentary we watched was a female police officer, or maybe she was a firefighter. I don't recall, honestly. She was in tears, pleading to please never forget. Please remember this event. And that was just so moving to me. Because we go about our daily lives. It doesn't directly impact us, although they say that now there are, I don't know, hundreds of, maybe even thousands of people who are now being affected medically from being a part of that event. But life goes on. Things in the world change, and our focus changes. But it's always good to have that Patriots Day to go back and reflect and remember who we were at that time, how we grew during that time, and how it affects life going forward.
So true. Let's not forget, never forget that just a sorrowful day. All right, we're getting ready to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about President Biden wants to double the size of the IRS.
Yes.
He wants to hire 87,000 new agents to audit and investigate American workers and small businesses, and liberals in Congress gave him the power to do it. They're armed as well. Think about that. We'll talk about it when we get back. Stay with us. You're watching Kearney Live.
You value choices when it comes to the products and services you bring into your home. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative gives you control over the energy you use. PCEC offers members ways to save with energy efficiency rebates and demand billing. You even have the power to choose the resources used to produce your power. To learn more, visit www.pcec.coop/power. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative. Your power, your way.
Migraine headaches, the throbbing in your temples, the pounding in your forehead, extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Your neck feels so tight it could snap off. Oh, the debilitating pain.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738. Or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Online banking at Kearney Trust Company gives you 24/7 access to your checking, savings, money markets, CDs, and loan accounts. You can access your accounts anytime from your home, office, and mobile devices. Online banking with Kearney Trust combines convenience and flexibility to bank on your own terms. Kearney Trust Company is a partner for success with 2 locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
All right, we're back. Welcome back to Kearney Live. So I knew this news item that I brought up that I teased a minute ago. I knew about it. I knew this was happening. But it was underscored by our Congressman Sam Graves, who I follow, and he sent me an email, as he did thousands of other Missourians, to help sort of put this in some perspective. President Biden wants to double the size of the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and hire 87,000 new IRS agents to audit and investigate American workers and small businesses. And he's saying that why? Well, they claim it's just to make sure that billionaires are paying their fair share of taxes. That's the liberal slant on this thing. But there's a couple of problems with that. For one, there's fewer than 800 billionaires in the United States. I'm not one of them. And why on earth would you need 87,000 IRS agents to audit 800 people? And as Sam Graves says, the numbers really don't add up. And let's put this in some kind of perspective. The Biden administration wants to hire more than the entire population of St. Joseph, Missouri. But think about that for a minute. To allegedly audit a few hundred people, these 87,000 new IRS agents could fill up Faurot Field and Mizzou Arena. So anybody, all you Mizzou folks, you know how big this is. With several thousand seats, several thousand still left outside to tailgate. This is ridiculous. Plus the fact that these agents are armed. Now, I don't know, the last time I checked, folks who are going to audit you from the IRS generally do it through phone and email and things of that nature, and they don't have to come knocking on your door with the sidearm. There's something that just doesn't feel right about that to me. Jerry, your thoughts. What the heck's going on here?
I think if we're going to hire that volume of federal workers to come in and do some enforcement, perhaps we would be better served if they were to go to the southern border and enforce that particular front.
Well said, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I think the troubling part about it is, and Sam Graves says here, even if you divided the number of new agents out over the 3,143 counties in the United States, you'd have 27 agents for every single county. And now they aren't going to divide them up like that, but you get his point. You see,
Right.
see what he's saying. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's a
put this
lot.
into some perspective, and you just have to ask yourself, what is this a good use of our taxpayer dollars? I mean, is it? To actually pay more money to have them come and audit us, and we're just trying to do our best. Listen, taxes are hard. I mean, right?
Right,
As
yes.
those of us who are business
they're painful.
owners or in charge of businesses, we have to go through this every single year, and we want to just hope upon hope that we're doing this right. But now, with this looming threat of an armed IRS agent showing up and saying, you didn't do that right.
Right. Well, I have questions about this like you do. What does this mean? My first question is, how are they going to hire 87,000 people when our local businesses can't even fill their staffing needs? So first of all, that takes my fear away, because I'm like, to me, that's not going to happen. But I was just in a workshop with the Kearney Chamber of Commerce where we had a couple of experts, tax and business experts, talking, and they actually mentioned this scenario. And it is their opinion as tax experts that what this really is going to do is they're hiring people to answer phones, because right now the IRS apparently is not answering their phones. So that's first and foremost. Second of all, the IRS, from what I understand, is 10 months behind in paperwork and turning that around. So that's another thing that these agents are going to be doing. From what these experts told me, a very small percentage are actually going to be knocking on doors and doing any kind of enforcement.
Well, that's
so
comforting.
that makes me wonder, are these temporary jobs then? Are they throwing around this big number, but it's really just a temporary thing until they get caught up? I don't know.
Congressman Graves addresses the customer service aspect of it. By the way, I've had to communicate as a business owner with the IRS on a couple of occasions, not for audits or anything, but that the payroll taxes were allegedly not paid. Well, believe me, I know they were paid, but having to go back and hire somebody to help me kind of cut through that, and finding the same person each time on the phone to address your case. Well,
Right.
they can't. Sam Graves tells us that the IRS, while the IRS is completely incapable of providing even basic customer service to taxpayers, over half of the $80 billion in the new IRS spending bill goes to doubling the number of audits, while only 4% will go to improving their abysmal customer service. Yeah, the IRS, Jerry, is not a place to go to get help.
Yeah, I'm from the government. I'm here to help
Yes.
you. It's not exactly a
Yes.
good line. The thing is, that volume of agents, clearly that's meant to go after smaller businesses and the middle class, because those are the people where quite honestly, that's where the money is. Because not because the middle class is rich, but because there are so many people there. I can't imagine sitting across from an IRS agent, and he and his jacket falls open, and there's a pistol in a holster, and it's like, but please don't let this pistol intimidate you in any way whatsoever. Besides the fact that I could, of course, have you put in jail anyway. It's intimidation, I think, and it's a governmental overreach. I think we've got to be looking at how we make the government more efficient rather than just add more people on, if that is truly the case. And I think that's something that is a real serious problem, and it gives you an idea of what the mindset is of the folks who are coming up with these ideas, and that is that the people will be made to comply even at the point of a gun.
Yeah.
Do you remember, and this was back in the Obama administration, when the IRS was auditing the Tea Party organizations throughout the nation, and they were applying for 501c3 status, and as they were doing that, the IRS was denying them, and they were also going back in and hassling these people, and with audits and threats of audits, and it was an ugly sort of weaponization, I think, of probably the most distasteful organization that's a part of our federal government. I mean, the fact that they're breathing down our necks as we're trying to make a living, and anybody who looks at their paycheck and then the line items and how much you get to keep, how much you get to take home versus the amount of taxes that are taken from it. This is a bad look, I think, across the board, regardless of party affiliation.
Right.
There's nothing good can come from
That's
this.
what I was going to ask Jerry. As a member of government, parties aside, is this just a scare tactic? Will this really happen?
Yes. Well, is it a scare tactic? I think it is certainly a factor in it. Yes. Is it something that's going to happen? Assuming Congress does not push back, and it looks like it's going forward, at least from what we can tell, yeah, it's going to happen. And we were talking about the idea, well, these are temporary jobs. Government doesn't do temporary jobs.
Right.
I mean, actually,
Yes.
when we're at the more local level, because from my own part, when we do something in government, I could run into a constituent quite easily, at the grocery store buying some
Right,
eggs,
yes.
and they will quite appropriately let me know when they think I'm doing the wrong thing. The folks in Washington live in a bubble, and this does not occur to them that there are people who are actually trying to make a living, and they're trying to keep the lights on, keep their kids in school, and trying to maybe save a few bucks for when they get older.
Right. Interesting.
Well, I think, hats off to Sam Graves for standing up and being so outspoken, I think.
He does a great job of keeping us informed.
Yeah, he does. And I think this is a thing that I don't see how any reasonable citizen can look at this and think that it's a good thing. Anyway, yeah, I think this administration, as Sam Graves says, needs a wake-up call. And look, we're not, as he says here, we're not a piggy bank for the federal government to just come and raid what little money we have left, especially at a time like this. So, Jerry, you're coming up with our next topic. I don't know if you were aware of that.
Thank you for giving me the heads up there. I appreciate it.
Well,
Good
why
job.
don't you take us to break? You want to do that? You want to tease us a little bit on
right.
what we're coming back with?
Well, speaking of government, we are transitioning in Clay County. We are now becoming more, I think, more responsive. So we are expanding our commission. We are implementing the Constitution that was voted on by over 81% of the folks in this county. So it's going to be an interesting and exciting time, and it's a time when we need citizens paying attention more than ever.
All right. Well, stay with us. We'll come right back with Jerry Nolte. Yeah. You're listening to Kearney Live.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
Electric cooperatives are different. We have a sense of pride in our local community and support the people who live here. That's why Platte Clay Electric Cooperative supports local schools, takes an active role in economic development, and works hard to keep costs down for its members. We exist for one purpose, to empower communities and energize life with safe and reliable energy. To learn more about how Platte Clay Electric Cooperative is working to achieve that mission, visit www.pcec.coop. Platte Clay Electric Cooperative.
You may have noticed your shoulder hurting, or maybe a kink in your neck. The culprit may be looking right at you. Your phone. Think about how you use it. Does that pain feel familiar to you?
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Strathman with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I've been practicing chiropractic health in Kearney for over 22 years. When you come to see me, I identify what's wrong and determine if I can help you. If I can, I create your personalized plan for relief.
When you have pain, you can make an appointment by calling 816-628-6738, or you can visit the office at 301 South Platte Clay Way, Suite B in Kearney. Kearney Family Chiropractic Center. Heal yourself.
Welcome back to Kearney Live. I almost missed my cue there, didn't I? We're talking today about a number of subjects, and what I was going to bring up from our teaser before was the changes in Clay County government. We are getting ready to implement the final steps on implementing the Constitution that voters put in place about 2 years ago. One of the main features of that change is the expansion of our commission from 3 people to 7 people, which is going to be tremendously helpful in a lot of ways. Happily, that doesn't mean necessarily a bigger payroll, because we are cutting our salaries to kind of make up for that. So it's not necessarily revenue neutral, but certainly we're not going to be making the same money we had before, which I think is a positive thing. But it's going to allow us to have more access for citizens to come in and talk to us. It's going to allow us to drill down on some of the subjects that are important to the folks there, and it gives us a better base of talent to draw on as far as people who know issues and know subjects. So my hope is that it's going to make this a lot more responsive when it comes to how citizens are able to redress their grievances of our government.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that when this all was unfolding a couple of years ago now, right?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. I thought, well, this sounds like, I mean, there's more elected officials. Yes, there are folks who are elected by the citizens of Clay County, but there were some appointees that were at one time elected positions within the county. That's one thing. And I think the other thing that I thought of was, well, this feels like more government, but I think there are some benefits to it, Jerry. Help us understand the benefits.
Sure. One of the things, you're absolutely right. We are actually, the number of people who are being elected to offices is relatively static. So what we're doing is we're by increasing commissioners, we are also decreasing. For instance, the treasurer will become an appointed office, and some of the others have already gone that route, the collector and some of those offices.
Right.
So what citizens will be voting on now is not people who are involved in process so much, but as people who are involved in policy. So when you vote for, say, the recorder of deeds, certainly you want a competent person in there, but they don't really involve themselves in policy in the same way. So this gives citizens a better voice in exactly how we go forward as a government, as opposed to just how the wheels turn. So that's a big part of it right there. And like I say, we will be completing that. In fact, we've got something that it's just come up recently was our prosecuting attorney, who will remain elected, was just appointed as a judge. So we will be, as a commission, taking up the appointment of that person who will be the interim until our prosecutor-elect takes office.
Well, that's sort of a big side story right there.
It is a huge story. In
Yeah.
the past, when we've had that kind of thing happen, when there's been a vacancy, it goes to the governor, and the governor appoints. Now this establishes our ability to have local control, so this is going to be done by local officials in the light of day, where citizens can come and hear us go through this process and have input.
Nice. That's great. I'm just fascinated by this whole situation, and I'm so excited to watch it unfold and see how it all plays out with all the new commissioners. I love actually the fact that there are seats that will now be appointed so that we can, not that people weren't experts in those seats before, but now they can be vetted fully and be placed as appropriately needed. And I think that's more the way a business runs. And I love the parallel of government running in a similar fashion to business, or maybe even a nonprofit with a board and staff. So I think it's fantastic.
I think that's true. One of the things, too, that I've noticed is we've had conversations with most, if not all, I think, of the new commissioners that were elected a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And not that the commission is apolitical. I mean, anybody, I think, by the very nature of running for public office has some affiliation, a party affiliation.
Right.
But I think one of the things that I've noticed is, even in those conversations with those people, is that they all seem to be, and I hope I'm not looking at this through rose-colored glasses, but they all seem to be Clay County first commissioners.
I think that's a fair thing to say, because when we talk, we are speaking to each other in terms of what is good policy, not what is good Republican policy or what is good Democrat policy, but what is good for the county. One of the real bonuses that I think is going to make our county run more smoothly, obviously recently we've had our issues, is that right now with a 3-member commission, if I have a concern or there's a problem between myself and one of my fellow commissioners, I can't sit down with him over a cup of coffee and say, let's figure out what's going on, because that would be a violation of sunshine law.
Right.
With the expanded commission, that is going to allow us to work out our differences in a way that is not so combative.
Sort of offline. So you can go, if you did run into somebody or that person that you might perhaps have that conflict with at the grocery store, you can say, hey, what's the matter with you?
Well, and the other thing is, when we were going through the process of trying to get the Constitution passed, one of the observations that I made was the way the commission is set up with 3 people, it's like having your any domestic disputes with your spouse, having them in the middle of Walmart. It's not overly productive.
I remember that illustration.
Yes. And now we can actually work them out in a much more civil way, because it's like you've got a lot of people watching, and it's human nature to play to the crowd, and now we can actually focus on solving problems.
No, I would agree, and I think that was one of the things that we talked about from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I think just the fact that there are so many good. Well, I think, put it this way: when we went through what I would call a really rough patch with the 2 commissioners that were embattled at the time with you, Jerry, and I don't think there's any secret about it.
Right.
It was newsworthy, and it was great for us because we had a lot of material when we had you on the air.
You're welcome.
But yes, exactly. But it was not good for Clay County, and I think
No.
it was, in fact, it was quite the opposite. But I like the idea now that there is a nice grouping, I think, of very talented folks who are in the Clay County Commission that can, we're past all of that.
But you know what I love
yes.
that came out of all of that? As horrible as it was, it got the public involved. And you can tell with just the election alone how many people came out to run for an office. That's fantastic. That's what we need, is more people who are willing to get involved at this level and then maybe even rise to state and federal levels and bringing it back home. And I think it not only engaged the entire county, but I think it proved to those who are sitting in Jerry's seat and all of the others is that we're paying attention. So you better bring your A game, and you guys have. And Jerry's always been accessible, but all of the commissioners now, I feel like everybody in the Clay County building is now so much more accessible
Yes.
to the public,
Yes.
and more willing to talk and share and be a partner with us, the people.
Right on. When you first said accessible, I thought you said acceptable. And Jerry is
Jerry's always been
acceptable.
acceptable.
Yes, he's
High praise
as opposed to others who are unacceptable. All right, we're going to come back. We've got our let's see. We've got up for us our final thoughts after this break. We'll be right back. Thanks for being with us today. Stay with us for our final thoughts.
Kearney Bulldog football is here, and you can listen to the game with live play-by-play action on the Bulldog Radio Network right here on 102.7 FM or our live stream at 1027KMO.com. You can also find us by downloading the TuneIn or MyTuner radio apps on your phone and searching for KPGZ. The Bulldog Radio Network will broadcast the game live on Friday, September 16th, as the Bulldogs take on the Excelsior Springs Tigers. The pregame show starts at 6:40 and the kickoff is at 7. Kearney Bulldog Football 2022. Catch the fever.
Just jumped right in there, Brian. I thought for a minute I wasn't going to hear the lovely bumper music.
You're going to hear it.
I'm glad I did. Show your lovely face, please.
Show my lovely
Yes,
face.
yes. There it is.
There
There's
he
Brian
is.
Watts. Does such a great job. Thank you very much, producer, engineer, and jack of all trades around this radio station and KMO-TV and everything else. Just love the guy. We love him. Love up on Brian. If you see him, say hello.
That's right.
All right. One of the things I noticed today, well, I guess it was the other day, it was in a news item that popped up on our e-news on our 1027KarneyMo.com that Judy Pence commissioned artist Melissa Ferris to refresh the mural on the west side of the Pence Appliance Store. And Melissa has repainted the faded 2014 mural to the exact style of the original artist. And it's over there at it's on the side of the Pence Heating and Cooling and Appliance Building at 105 West Washington. And it's based on 3 different photographs located in the Kearney Historic Museum. It mainly shows how Washington Street looked in the 1930s, and as well as depicting, of course, the famous residents Frank and Jesse James. It's so stinking cool.
Yes.
When I saw this, and it's just so beautifully done, and the restoration of it is just flawless. So tip of the hat, I mean, to all concerned, to Judy Pence in particular.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is wonderful.
Nice.
Stacy.
Yeah, well, this Friday, I'm not sure why, but I get to go judge the barbecue competition.
Don't judge me!
Out at the Jesse James Park as part of the Jesse James Festival.
Wow.
So that's, I don't really want to talk about being a judge, but but it was a lead into, this is the weekend. We started last weekend with Jesse James Festival. It continues full-fledged this weekend. Jesse James Festival with the barbecue cook-off, parades, dances, demolition derby, arts and crafts booths, just all kinds of fun stuff. And I think they've changed the pricing a little bit this year so that instead of by carload or by event, it's you pay one flat fee per person, and that gets you everything for the day. So be sure to go out to Jesse James Park, come out for the parade in downtown Kearney. It's just going to be a full weekend, Friday through Sunday. Oh, and there's a carnival, something for everybody to enjoy.
Can I drive off with a carload of barbecue?
No, it's not for sale, sorry.
When you said carload, I just thought, yeah, that will do for me. I'd like that, yes. Yes, Jerry.
Well, I'm just happy that they're not going to charge you by how much you weigh, because otherwise I would be in total trouble at that point.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, my gosh. Yes, don't remind me. Oh, man, I'm in denial.
Too many jokes there.
Yes.
One of the things that I find right now that is so exciting, and we've touched on a lot of it, and that is it's such an exciting time for Clay County. We are moving in such a positive direction, and it's like we're almost a new county. We've got a blank slate that we as Clay County have the opportunity to actually write good things on that slate now. And it's an opportunity that we should not let pass us by. One of the things that we're working on at the county right now is trying to reestablish ourselves as a tourism destination.
Yeah.
That is something that's going to be very important, especially we've got some events coming up in the metro area over the next couple of years. So we're hoping to get that on the ground and get that in place. So I think what we need to do is revisit how we've approached tourism in the past and really make it snap for the mid-21st century.
Love it.
I'll throw my hat in the ring to be on that panel.
Yeah. Brian Watts, I see you're on this list today.
I am on the list. I just wanted to say it's my son Ben's 21st birthday.
Oh, boy.
Yep. And let me get this picture going here. That's him.
Oh,
about 7 months.
Oh.
So happy birthday to Ben. I also wanted to tie it in because Stacy was talking about 9/11 earlier, and this is newspapers I grabbed on the day of his birth and then the day after 9/11 because nothing was on the newspaper about buildings blowing up on 9/11.
Yeah.
It was 9/12. So it's interesting to read the subheads there. Air traffic grounded. What else does it say? Wall Street closed down. All those different things you might not have remembered 21 years later. So just amazing the memories that come back with something like that.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Well, congratulations and happy birthday, Ben. And I say, is he going to go have a little something?
He's going to go have a little Red Robin later on. That's what you mean by something.
I think folks know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Ben. And I know he delivers sandwiches from time to time.
Yep, for Jimmy John's.
Yes, yes. A terrific guy, great young man, has helped out a lot around the station. And we appreciate you, Ben, and I hope your 21st birthday is a great one. So,
Happy birthday.
Yep, absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you very much, Jerry. Yay. Jerry Nolte for being with us, and I wish he was here almost every day. Almost. There are those days we need a little break from Jerry, I'm just saying.
Sound like my wife.
He's acceptable.
I think, we could all say that. And Stacy, thank you very much. Great job as always. And it is, I mentioned it earlier, but we are so happy to have you as a part of the team here. Brian Watts, thank you for all the wonderful things you do. Jim Dickerson, we'll see you. Oh, thank you. You're too kind. We will see you next time, Jim. And thanks for all that you do. Be safe coming home.
Yes.
And thank you all for watching or listening to Kearney Live. We love you. Thank you. Come back next week. We'll see you.